Peace, 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 and divine blessings. Um, all praise is due to the one most high divine for peace, for balance, for blessings, for truth, justice, order, equality, and reciprocity, for love, light, and life. Oh, what fullness there is to be grateful for. I'm grateful for safety, for security, for protection. I'm grateful for healing, for health, wealth, and abundance. I'm just in awe when I set my mind to channel to the channel of graciousness and to the channel of gratefulness and to the channel of love. I'm able to fully, or at least as fully as I can, appreciate all the magnificence that is happening around me. I'm not going on a theme, the theme that we've been discussing, and I know it's been 2 weeks. Last week was pretty hectic, and it took a little bit more out of me than I thought it would, but that's life. We be lifing. But I'm back this week with our Sunday session, and I'm so grateful, and I'm so full of joy for all the blessings that I'm receiving and all the blessings that are in the world to receive. And I'm grateful for the shift of mind and the shift of vision so that I can see what is happening in the world for what it is. The truth may hurt, but the truth will set you free, and that freedom can become your bliss if you're able to recognize it, if you're able to let go of previous understandings, if you're able to detach yourself from the world as we know it and see the world for what it is. I was listening to Sadhguru this week, and it was so amazing because the lessons that I was learning from his speeches were reiterating things I had learned throughout last week and things that I had spoken about in our last Sunday session. It was such a beautiful confirmation for me, because what his basic lesson to everyone is that we create our own misery by attaching ourselves to ideals, to goals, to platforms, to pedestals. We associate our worth with achieving degrees and status and what we think we deserve from positions and places that are attached to the world. And the world is an illusion. The world as it has been taught to us, and the world that we see, makeup tutorials, the news, skyscrapers, real estate, in the way that we are taught to see it, where achieving status and money and achieving an audience or fame and achieving a position in a space in a corporate space or in an artistic world, having to run this rat race that we keep talking about, or run on this hamster wheel, which is like the continuous theme of this space that we've created. Because in all reality, that's what I'm trying to help you detach yourself from, so that you can see the bigger picture that has been painted by God for you. Whew. It is amazing to be in the world but not of it. It is fulfilling. It is filled with love and joy. And it's filled with pain and sometimes anger. And it's the experience that we are here to have. I watched an argument. Well, it was a discussion that turned into an argument, as many discussions do, that pissed one party off because another party was very dug deep into their opinion, and they were only expressing their opinion, but having opposing opinions in our world can be viewed as in this world can be viewed as an attack. Having opposing opinions that trigger something in you can sometimes cause you to react to the person who said a thing, rather than react to the feeling and ask yourself why you're having the feeling that you're having. Because we've been taught that we are individuals, when we're really all one entity, we're all one being, and we're all having an individual experience for ourselves. We are still connected. We are interconnected. And it's very important that we learn that when we are faced with a truth or the truth, no matter how much it might hurt, it is our truth, even when it's coming from someone else. And it may hurt because it might be something you don't want to agree to. It might be something that you have been telling yourself no about. It might be something you knew deep inside, and you knew better than to feel a different way. And you've been telling yourself that you need to make a shift, but because this person is saying it to you and it's in your face, you react adversely to something that you know is true. Sometimes we use all of our spiritual energy to get us someplace that we don't belong. I'll let that sit for a moment. Sometimes we use our spiritual energy to get us someplace where we don't belong. And believe you me, at some point, you will be faced with the choice to leave all the work that you've put into it, all the trials and tribulations that you faced, all that hard work. You will be faced with the choice to leave it behind or to be stuck. And sometimes that doesn't feel real good. It feels real bad. Sometimes that could feel, if you are not willing to accept it for what it is, it could feel real icky. It could feel like you did this to yourself. It could feel like, why is this happening to me? It could feel like, who's in charge? It could feel like, why did I do all this work only to be let down? And I'll say this. You haven't let yourself down. You haven't been let down by the world. The world is what it is. It is true to what it is. you put yourself in position. Even if it hurts to let go of the things that you've attached yourself to for so long, just know that even with your fighting it, even when you're struggling with it, even when you're trying to run away from it, if you're doing the work, if you are moving by faith, you will be put in position. And you will have to make the choice. Will you remain stuck and continue to attach yourself to the worldly things that you found valuable before? Or will you see the truth and decide to move and shake and dance in it? We are not here to be slaves to any corporation, to any concept or ideal. We are not here to bolster or lift up or strengthen any worldly demand, concept, system. We are here simply to have the human experience. And when you're having those emotions and it hurts and it's disgusting and you're angry, remember that you asked to be here. We talked many times about the contract that we have with the One Most High, the contract that we made before we even entered into our mother's womb. The contract that we made to live in this world, to have these experiences, and to allow it to lift and grow and strengthen our spirit. So Sadhguru was asked so many times, well, what do you teach people to help them? Basically to help them to be their most best self and feel the most fulfilled that they've ever felt in the world. And what was funny was that he really wouldn't ever answer the question directly. My bad. But what he would say is, he didn't teach them anything. He just told them to sit with themselves. No distractions. No work. If you can, no children. I went on a 10-day silent retreat of Vipassana. 10 years ago now. And we couldn't even look each other in the eye because that's a form of communication. 10 days in silence, yet with a whole community of people in silence. And we meditated maybe 4 times a day. Got up at 7, meditated, had breakfast. We were tasked with the assignment of sitting with self. We couldn't exercise, we couldn't read. We couldn't engage in anything except ourselves. We could walk the trail, the nature trails that was on the property. We could sit in the garden. We could sit in our rooms. But we could not communicate. We could not speak, utter a word, and we could not gesture an emotion or a sentence or, you get it. It was very revelatory for me. And what I learned is that the diseases that we create, or the diseases that we have, not cancer and, HIV and, these diseases that you have in your physical body, but the dis-ease that we have in our emotional body and in our spirit come from somewhere where we have attached ourselves to an experience that we never understood why it happened to us, or we attached ourselves to an experience that was a trauma. And now we have in our body this pain, this back pain, this leg pain. We have a certain, maybe a health condition. We have headaches all the time. We have, misaligned joints or what have you. And all of this was a result of us attaching a trauma to ourselves as if we were either the cause or the reason for that event to happen. The trauma is just the injury, but you are not your trauma. Just like you are not your position at your job, and you are not a mother or a parent. You are parenting a child. You are working at a job. You are living this worldly life. But the purpose of us living this worldly life is to have the experience, to bring that understanding, to use our spirit to decipher the emotions and the thoughts and the feelings that we have, so that our spirit can become stronger, so that we can sit with the Creator and be one with the Creator and find blissfulness at all times, so that no matter what happens at your job and no matter what happens, in your parenting, so many of our friends, my friends and family even, feel bad about a thing that they did with their child. Even some grown-ass adults that I know find guilt in some of their parenting from when they were younger. And I say to them, each and every human being has to unpack their childhood themselves. That's their responsibility. You did the best you can with what you had at the time. So am I angry with my parents? I might have a little bit of tinge of frustration about my childhood, but I'm not angry, and I do not blame my parents for any trauma that I had. Because at the end of the day, it was my contract with the Most High that gave me that experience so that I can grapple with it in anger and in joy. And I can decipher it using the spirit that God gave me, so that I can be a stronger and more resilient and more fulfilled and joyous human being. But if you don't know that you're going through these things, if you don't know the purpose of it, if you just are in the world thinking that you're supposed to get to these places that are not even a part of who you are, but are an illusion of what the world is supposed to be and who you are supposed to be in it, then you never take the time to really sit with that trauma, to really sit with those notions, to really sit with your feelings, and to understand your triggers. I hope I'm not speaking in circles, and I hope you're understanding what I'm saying, because although I started off by saying we're not going to go along with the theme, or with a specific with the specific theme that we had in order before, it's still the same thing. It's still the same message, and it's still what my calling is to bring to you. Now, I know people are gonna start saying, well, how, right? Well, how do I detach myself from myself? The self that I thought I was, the self that I've created, or the self that the world created for me that I agreed to. How do I detach myself from this? How do I move beyond the hamster wheel, beyond the rat race, beyond the feelings of discontent and desire and pain and anger and frustration? How do I find joy in everything? How do I? Sorry about that. We got cut off, but I just want to bring it to a close by saying that I know some of us wonder, or some of us feel or have the desire to grow beyond what we know or what we've attached ourselves to in the world, but we just don't feel like we know how. And although it may sound simple, it doesn't feel simple when you're doing it, and it can be pretty complicated trying to detach yourself. But once you've made the choice to do so, you have to sit with yourself. And that is definitely where meditation comes in for me. And it can be a different method for different people, but we're going to start there. We're going to start with doing some meditations with one another. We're going to start with teaching some meditation techniques, and we're going to start to get ourselves on the journey of detachment. It's hard. I'm not gonna lie. It can be very difficult, but it is worth it. It is 199% worth it. Till next time, I love you dearly. I love you so much, and I'll be praying for you. Please pray for me. Peace.